Hello YouTube and welcome back to Let's Play Bloons Wiki 5 Deluxe Edition. This is the third episode of the hard mode series where I will be going through all of these maps on hard. And just as a reminder, on Friday I will have a special episode for my 100th episode, and there's something that you will want to see, and I don't want to give it away now, even though some of you will probably be able to guess what it is. But you know what, I'm going to place this here. And I know what you're thinking, this is a really bad placement. Patrick, why are you doing this? This is a terrible idea. Why are you placing it here? Well, because I want to use the Glaive Ricochet again. And I'm not going to totally go all out and only use Glaive Ricochet, but I do really enjoy the Glaive Ricochet, and on this map in particular, when all the balloons are coming down and all the way around over here, and then you use the Glaive Ricochet and it just shreds through all of them, I think that's just totally awesome. And another thing, unrelated to balloons, is my Terraria Let's Play is just about done. As far as I know, it's pretty much done. There's only a couple more episodes, if that. So I will be starting off a new series, and I'm pretty sure I'll be going with Dungeon Defenders, because I've already started that, so I want to finish the things I've started before I start on any new projects. Well, actually, that means I should probably finish New Super Mario Bros. So yeah, that'll be kind of a vote. Do you think I should try to finish off some more Dungeon Defenders? Or do you think I should try to finish off some more New Super Mario Bros? Because I'm really close to finishing New Super Mario Bros. Wii, that Let's Play. So let me know what you think about that, which one you think I should try to do first, or if I should just start a new thing and forget about those projects. As always, fan feedback or viewer feedback is always welcome. And again, I guess for this week I'll just be doing this whole hard mode episode uncut, I guess. But then next week I'll try to either speed up or just cut out certain parts so that the episode can be under like 30 minutes, because it takes a while to get through one hard mode stage, as you have undoubtedly realized. So again, let me know in the comments what you think about whether or not it should be one long episode, or if you think I should cut it up. And I'm assuming a lot of people haven't really been commenting, one, because it's a really long episode, so it's taking them a long time to actually watch the whole thing, or they're just skipping through certain parts, so they're not actually hearing me ask them what I should do. Either way, that's fine. Just, if you do hear this, please let me know in the comments. And I know that there are some things going on with the comments in general. And again, I really need to remember to put the link in the description, and I really need to watch the video that explains how you're supposed to sign up with Google Plus in order to comment, or whatever the deal is with that, because I know something's going on with Google Plus and commenting and all that. And again, in my personal opinion, I don't know anything wrong with Google Plus. I don't have any past experience of Google Plus being weird. I mean, other than obviously them making you sign up to post comments on YouTube or whatever. But as far as I know, Google Plus is fine. It's free, as far as I know, and it shouldn't be that bad. It's just an additional thing, not necessarily replacing all of your emails or anything. So I would recommend that you actually look into that and see what you can do to actually get that, so you can reply to comments and comment in general. So yeah, just look at that in general, so that you can actually participate. But I'm like, hey, I need your feedback, and no one's saying anything. But yeah, so Friday special episode, you should watch that. And again, I don't remember what show or what episode. I think I was talking about Bloons Monkey City, and I started talking about Gravity Falls, because Gravity Falls is just an awesome show, and recently I just started watching a bunch of conspiracy theory video type stuff, and it just made me so excited for the next season. And then I remembered that the next season, there's no official air date. We have no idea when it's going to come out, so all that hype is probably going to fade eventually. But definitely once I find out when the next season is going to come out, all that hype will come back. So anyways, back into it. This is 97, I think, or what episode is this? 98, because it's Wednesday, which, dang it. Every Wednesday I forget. So I'm recording this on Wednesday, dang it, which means that today is Thursday for you, because this is going to be episode 99. Alright, so this is Thursday, apparently, episode 99, and tomorrow, on Friday, you should remember to watch that episode entirely, because be announcing something I suppose, and trying to be like, oh, mysterious, keep you interested, but then on the other side, I just want to tell you because it seems ridiculous to try to hide it. But some of you may have guessed by now or something, I don't know. But I don't know. So let's see. Okay, so now that I'm realizing that this is episode 99, because I need to record a challenge video, yeah, so I guess that's it to talk about that. But this, like I said, is 99 videos, or 99th video. Technically, I guess 98th, because I'm recording this before the other one, but whatever. I've kind of explained a lot about this game, although I know that some of you may not have been watching all 99 videos, which is fine, because I know that in the beginning I was really boring, like, way more boring than I am right now. So, like, I guess I could still try to explain some stuff, but it's like I don't know what you did hear or what you didn't hear, and I don't want to just repeat it for people that have already heard it. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments about like what kind of stuff I should be talking about in this, because obviously you can tell here I'm just sitting here waiting, just waiting for it to go on. Like, there's nothing I can buy right now, and I don't need to buy anything because my towers are already awesome enough. And again, I call them towers, even though this is a monkey. It's a human. Well, I almost said it's a human being, but no, it's a monkey. But it's a living being, so I shouldn't call it a tower. And you may or may not be able to hear. I don't know how well the audio is going to pick it up, but my nephew is crying in the other room because my sister is here with her son, which is my nephew, which is pretty self-explanatory. But so they're here and stuff. They usually come over every now and then, but I don't know exactly how well you can hear it. If you can hear him crying. And yeah, so, haha, this is one of the first times where the camo balloon is appearing, and I don't need to put down any road spikes because I've already got a factory, which reminds me I need to upgrade it. So yeah, there's that. But, let's see, so yeah, on hard mode, I should mention, that everything does cost a little bit more than usual, and one of the problems with this strategy that I have in particular, with having the glaive thrower, or the glaive ricochet, over here on the end, the beginning and the end of the track, is that then for regrow balloons, if I pop some of the layers but not all of the layers, then as they're going around on this big winding path, then they're able to just regrow most of their layers, which is kind of lame, but obviously it makes sense. Let's see, so after I build up my factory a little more, and I call spike factories spactories, like, yeah, spactories, I guess, just because I was on one of the forums for balloons, and I heard them call it that. It's like the short-term nickname, I guess, for it, which made sense. So I was like, yeah, it sounds cool. It's not road spikes, and I don't know. Does actually clicking them? No, okay. Actually, clicking them doesn't cost any money. It's just the placing of the road spikes that costs money. But anyways, I should have known that. Anyways, but anyways, let's see. So yeah, just still a couple more upgrades for the factory, and I'll make it the spiked mine factory so that it's more of a safety net against ceramics and such rather than against the Moabs, because if a Moab got all the way over here, I'm gonna need a whole lot to defend myself against it. So let's see, what should I do? Because now I've got to think. I need something to beat the clumps, which will be my glaive ricochet, and I'll put an ice tower eventually. I need something to defeat camo, and camo lead in particular, which the spike factory will do fine. It already can now defeat camo lead. General camo detection again falls on the factory, which isn't that bad because it's near the end of the track, so it has plenty of time to lay out enough spikes to catch any of the camo balloons that'll appear, so that's not too bad. Let's see, I need Moab busting, which is always like my problem. A BFB would be good, not BFB, but a Moab Mauler would be good to deal with the Moabs and a BFB, I guess. And this round in particular, round 33, has a bunch of yellow camos, which I should probably try counting. Well, it says there's 80 RBE, which means the red balloon equivalent, which is basically how many layers there are in this round. So if the yellows are 4 layers, then that means that should have been 20 yellow camo balloons, I think. I'll have to count that one day. Pretty sure that was 20 yellow camo balloons. So you only need like 8 road spikes, or piles of road spikes. Yeah, 8 or 7. 8 is probably good. 8 is a little bit of overkill, but 7 isn't quite enough in order to get through that. So on hard, that's $240. But then you'll be making back 80 of that. So that's 160. No, 180. Wait, 240. Yeah, 160. You'll be spending 160 of your cash if you want to just go with road spikes on that track, I guess. But then obviously, if you were to calculate how many camo balloons in general there were and how many road spikes you would need, it can add up, especially on round 70, because that's like an entire wave of rainbow camo balloons, which is so much more. So, and it's like a huge stream of camo rainbow, so that's always dangerous. But let's see. Again, like I don't even need a banana farm, and I've got plenty of money to buy all the stuff that I need. I mean, obviously, I could use a little bit more defenses, but this is one of the easier tracks, and here you can see that the Glaive Ricochet is just so awesome. I love the Glaive Ricochet. It's definitely my favorite tower. Let's see. Build this here, this monkey village, and what I'm actually going to do, because I have Monkey Tycoon, because of the monkey village, it decreases the cost of towers, tower placement and upgrades. So it won't like give you back money just for placing it, but if you have it placed, you have Monkey Tycoon, you can sell a tower and then just rebuild it, because with Monkey Tycoon you can sell something for the same amount of money that you bought it for. So that's good. And the reason I got the monkey village in particular for the monkey beacon that increases the range of your towers is so that now this Glaive Ricochet can attack right here, so it has a little bit extra power, I guess, extra range, so that it can pop things a little bit sooner. But what I was saying is something that I do in a lot of episodes is that because I have Monkey Tycoon, just as an example, say you spend $100 on a single tower, and then after that you build the monkey village, which decreases the cost to 90. So you sell it for 100, and then you can place it again for 90, saving you that $10 or that 10%. Now, if you expand that to something that costs 6,555, or if this one costs 2,465, I should be able to save $247 essentially if I sell this. And I didn't pay attention to how much money I have beforehand, but now I only spent 2,215. So it doesn't save you that much on the cheaper towers, but if you have something that costs, like I said, 6,555, or if you had built a super monkey before you built the monkey village, then that's obviously pretty helpful as well. Now, what I just did was I got the radar scanner to grant the boomerang thrower camo detection. And normally, the only way for the boomerang thrower to get camo detection is if you upgrade it to the Glaive Lord, which costs 8,310, which is really expensive. But it does create 2 permanent glaives that orbit around the tower. Around the tower or around the tower? I don't know. Shredding almost anything that touches them. Glaive Lord can attack camo balloons. Basically, the Glaive Lord, not only does it have camo detection, but it has 2 glaives that will just float around the boomerang thrower, which is pretty useful, but it's not always, I was going to say it's not always the best, but it's not always worth it, I guess, because that is a lot of money, and really the biggest advantage of spending all that money is to get the camo detection, but I've already got camo detection because of the monkey village, so that's always nice. Now here I'm buying an ice tower because the ice tower will slow down balloons and freeze them in a large radius. And I just realized I still need to deal with the Moab. Actually, that's going to put a halt on my plans. Okay, instead of the ice tower, because I just realized I have something more important to take care of, I'm going to place another factory. Now, this is kind of an experimental strategy, because I haven't really used it that often, but I have used it before, and I don't remember the effectiveness of it. I'm going to build a second factory with the Moab Shredder Spikes upgrade. These Moab Shredder Spikes are the super hard rending engine-driven razors, are especially engineered to really hurt Moab class Bloons, so they'll get rid of a Moab and even a BFB really quickly. Now the reason I'm placing it right next to the Spiked Ball factory is so that now the Moab Shredder Spikes and the Spiked Mines, or the Spiked Ball, are kind of mixed within each other, or between each other, so that there's a good portion of Moab Shredder Spikes and the Spiked Ball balls, I guess, but the good thing about that is that the Moab will, hopefully the Moab layer will get shredded through by the Moab Shredder Spikes, and then the ceramics that come after that will get destroyed by the Spiked Balls. So it's a good combo, I guess, hopefully, if it works well enough, as well as I hope it will. Obviously the Glaive Thrower, or Glaive Ricochet, is not very good against Moabs, because it's better at long streams of multiple Bloons, rather than one single strong Bloon. Plus, because it has such a low attack speed. But obviously there, with the ceramics, because there was such a long stream of them, it was able to just tear through them pretty quickly, which is why I love the Glaive Ricochet so much, especially on this long track. But that actually worked pretty well against the Moab, the way that the Moab Shredder Spikes were able to get through the Moab layer pretty quickly, and then let the ceramics get through. So the problem that I usually have with both of these defenses is that with the Moab Shredder Spikes, those are best against the Moabs. So you want to place those closer to the beginning of the track so that you're able to get rid of that Moab layer before the Moab gets through the rest of your defenses. But the problem with that is that if you place the spiked or the shredded Moab Shredder Spikes near the beginning of the track, then even once the Moab Shredder Spikes get through that Moab layer, then the rest of the ceramic Bloons that come out of the Moab, or just any other Bloon that comes out on that normal wave, will just run right through those Shredder Spikes. It'll still be hurt, and the Shredder Spikes will do stuff to it, but then that sort of gets rid of those spikes that you lay down on the ground. So that's why generally what are they called? Just the factories in general, the spike factories, I tend to place them near the end of the track so that my the Bloons have more time, or not that they have more time, but they take more time to get to the spike factory, so that more spikes are out on the field for this factory to work, I guess. But what was I saying? The reason why this works so well, I guess, is just because there's not as much time between when the Moab layer gets destroyed and when the ceramics come out afterward. I'm not really sure if I'm explaining this very well, but the Spiked Ball production is enough to actually defeat the ceramic. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I lost my train of thought. But oh well, that happens. I was gonna say I'm kind of known for losing my train of thought, but I don't really know if that's true. But anyways, so instead of going with the Ice Tower, which I'll explain now, the Ice Tower, like I said, freezes Bloons, makes them go slower, and even pops them a little bit, or one layer, when it does freeze them. The reason I was going to place them over here by the Spike Factory is that then it'll slow down the Bloons so that it grants even more time for the factory to actually lay out the spikes, and by freezing them and keeping them in place within the range of the Spike Factories, or Spike Factories, then it increases the power of the Spike Factories by letting, instead of the factories just putting stuff out there for the Bloons to run into eventually as a safety net, the Ice Tower lets them actually throw the spikes onto the Bloons to make it more of an offensive attack rather than a defensive attack, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's specifically a good idea in general, but I don't know, it sounds like a good idea to me, so I'm going to try it again. And now that I have more defenses to deal with the Moabs, now just general clumps of Bloons are going to be my my goal to defend against, my next objective, I guess, because on round 55, actually, there's kind of a ceramic clump. If you're new, a ceramic clump would just be a clump of ceramics where there's a lot of ceramic balloons just sort of packed together. Now 54, there's a lot of ceramic balloons, yes, but in round 55, there's a lot more closely packed together, but sort of spread out, if that makes sense. You'll see in a second. But the glaive ricochet is good because each time it throws its glaives, each two, because of the double Venga deluxe upgrade, it'll shred 2 layers off the ceramic balloon. However, each ceramic balloon has 6 layers, or it has 6 layers just to the ceramic layer. So you need like 3 shots to get through that ceramic layer, and then even more to get through the rest of it. So right here, it may not actually be the best placement for it, but it's still decent because it has multiple chances to shred through those layers. And because the ceramic balloons were so closely packed, the glaive ricochet had no problem just ricocheting off all of them to get through all of them. Now, the reason why the Arctic Wind, the Ice Tower upgrade, is so important right now is because, oh no, this isn't good. Well, it's okay, because here, the Rainbow Regrow Bloons, the way the Regrow Bloons work is that once you pop off one layer, they'll regrow right back, and they can be really dangerous, especially with an Ice Tower, or a Glue Gunner, or a Balloon Chipper, because those in particular don't have the best attack rate, I guess, but especially the Rainbow Regrow Bloons. The biggest problem with those is that a Rainbow Balloon will pop into 2 smaller Zebra Balloons, and each of those Zebra Balloons can then regenerate into their own Rainbow Balloons, and then you pop those layers again to get into 2 more Zebra Balloons, which equals 4, and then you just keep doing that until you eventually start multiplying more and more balloons until they just completely destroy your defenses, which has happened so many times. If you don't have the right defenses, you can end up making more balloons than you're popping. Now here, what's interesting is that the Arctic Wind is actually slowing down the balloons when they're over here, and they're far enough away to... Oh, okay, well, never mind. Some of them, apparently, are far enough away to not be within the range of the actual freezing effect. Well, actually, yeah, that's true. These balloons, they're not close enough to activate the freezing effect, but because these balloons over here by the Glaive Ricochet are close enough, the Ice Tower is sending out its freeze wave, and then because the balloons were close enough here, they were affected by it, even though they weren't targeting it or activating it, which is pretty interesting. I've never actually seen that or realized that happening. But the Arctic Wind, what it does is it's a super cold aura that slows all balloons that come near the tower. In addition, the regular freeze effect of this tower has a much larger area. So basically, any towers within this range or really close to that range get slowed down, so that your other monkeys have a longer chance to actually pop them. And then, like I said, it also has the freezing ability where it'll just freeze them and keep them stuck in one place. Now here, I'm going to use the Viral Frost ability that its description is that it freezes balloons so cold that they'll also freeze any balloons that touch them, which is pretty interesting because it's kind of like the Glaive Ricochet effect, just with ice towers. So now when you freeze one balloon, any other balloon that touches that balloon, and any balloon that touches that balloon, and so on, will also get frozen. They won't get a layer shred off of them, they'll just get frozen in place, which is kind of interesting. Now here, this is a BFB, which holds 4 Moabs, which holds 4 ceramics, which hold, I think, 2 rainbow, which each hold 2 zebra, which I think hold 2 black and 2 white, which each hold 2 pinks, which hold 1 yellow, 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 red. So that's a lot of layers of balloons that you have to get rid of. I really hope my defenses are good enough, because I didn't save. I haven't been saving, so that's really bad. I really need to get into the habit of saving more often. And you know what? I am actually a little bit afraid that this isn't going to be enough, so I'm going to use a bunch of road spikes just to help out a little bit and get rid of some of these layers before they actually get to the rest of the factories. And okay, wow, it's still laying them down. So now that actually got rid of all the Moab layers because of all these Moab shredder spikes, which I guess I should have been a little bit more faithful for trusting, because the Moab Treasure Spikes are able to pop through all the Moab Blimp layers, and then the Ice Tower was able to slow down all the ceramics to give my Boomerang or my Glaive Ricochet more time to actually pop them. Now here, there's a bunch more regrow balloons, but what I remember now is that one of the strengths of the Glaive Ricochet with the double Ranga ability is that it's shredding off 2 layers instead of 1. Now here, I'm actually a little bit afraid because they are all clumping together and it's really dangerous. They might actually still be multiplying and I just can't tell. But what's really good about the Glaive Ricochet when it has the double Ranga ability is that, like I said, it's shaving off 2 layers instead of 1. So the regrow ability isn't regrowing fast enough for the balloons to multiply, because the Moab Shredder, or not Moab Shredder, the Glaive Ricochet is shredding through 2 layers at a time. So that's why the double Ranga ability is so useful. Basically just because it doubles the effect of the Glaive Ricochet, and of course you could always buy like 2 or 3 if you don't have the double Ranga upgrade, just to make it as efficient. Let's see, right now, it seems like a pretty good defense, because those Moab Treasure Spikes are actually a lot more effective than I realized. So they're really good at getting through those Moab and BFB layers. Although again, on that one track I did have the road spikes that I was laying out all over the place, so that was helpful. But you know what? Just in case, I actually am going to try building another Glaive Ricochet Boomerang Thrower. That's probably not the best place because I don't think it can reach that side, but it's still okay. Because now I'm shredding through 4 layers, which should be more helpful in getting rid of regrow balloons or just all balloons in general. But right now I'm still kind of afraid because this is on hard mode. I have to deal with the ZOMG, which is the hardest balloon in the game right now. It holds 4 BFBs, which hold 4 Moabs, which hold 4 ceramics, which hold 2 rainbows, which hold 2 zebras, which hold 2 blacks and 2 whites, I think, which hold 2 pinks, which hold a yellow, which hold a green, which hold a blue, which hold a red. So like I said, that's a lot of layers, and I don't know how well the Moab Treasure Spikes are going to hold up against that. But they were able to get rid of those 8 Moabs, so that's pretty comforting, I suppose. Let's see, what else can I do? I mean, I could build, there's plenty of other towers. I could build a bunch of super monkeys, and those are kind of like just the destroy all balloons. But I kind of don't want to. I don't want to just build something like that that's going to destroy everything. I want to use some more strategy behind it. Let's see. The balloon shippers are pretty good. They're good at anti-Moab. But now I don't know. Cause again, I don't want to buy something that I know is just going to completely destroy it. But I don't want to buy something that I know is going to be a total waste of money. Let's see. Another thing is this activated ability, the Spiked Storm, which will just lay out a bunch of Moab Shredder Spikes all over, because I bought the Spike Storm ability, obviously, from the factory. Now, the thing about these towers is that, in case you're new to the game and for some reason you don't know how it works yet, there are 2 upgrade paths that you may have already been aware of. The upgrades on the left tend to be, in my opinion, the better upgrades that are more effective, I guess, just as a constant power. Because I've got this thing against activated abilities, which are always on the right side upgrade path, because you can upgrade to tier 2 of each path, and then once you get to tier 3, it will lock off the other side. Because here it even says, no further upgrades can be bought for this path due to level 3 or 4 upgrades bought for the other path. Which means you can only get to tier 3 and tier 4 of one side or the other. The ones on the left, like I said, are generally more powerful constant abilities, like the Spiked Mines, or on the right side there are activated abilities on tier 4, like the Spike Storm, which is this activated ability, which occasionally the upgrade to the tier 4 will actually increase like the attack speed or the range or some other stat of the actual tower. But in general, most of them only give you the activated ability, which in some cases is kind of good, because then if the tower is a good standalone tower without that tier 4 ability, generally you're spending less by only upgrading it to tier 3 and not upgrading it to the tier 4 ability. But those are some kind of rare occasions, I suppose, which is why for the Glaive Ricochet, I'm actually better off, in my opinion, staying with just the Glaive Ricochet as tier 3, because the glaives that will actually ricochet around the Glaive Lord aren't really worth $8,000, in my opinion. And the only other way to make that worth it, I guess, is, or the only way to make that $8,000 worth it is to get them camo detection. But I've got a monkey village to allow the radar scanner to detect camo balloons and all that. Now the other upgrades on the monkey village, they're not really that necessary. They're really expensive, and they don't really help. Well, yeah, they do. The tier 4 help a lot with actually popping things, but the Monkey Intelligence Bureau, the Bureau grants special balloon popping knowledge to all nearby towers, allowing them to pop all balloon types. That obviously may not make sense if you're new to this game, but the bomb tower, shoots a single bomb that explodes in a radius burst on impact. Good range, medium, slow fire rate, can pop lead balloons, but not black balloons. The black balloons and the zebra balloons are immune to bomb explosions, unless the bomb tower is within the range of a Monkey Intelligence Bureau, in which case it can pop all balloon types. And the ice towers can't pop white or zebra. Most towers can't pop camo balloons without upgrades. Some balloons, like the dart monkey, anything that's just like a sharp dart, can't pop lead balloons unless they have an upgrade or if they're in the Monkey Intelligence Bureau. So it can be helpful, but the main thing that I would want the Monkey Intelligence Bureau to do is affecting the glue gunners, because the glue gunners, you know what, I'll buy one just because, just to show it off, even though it's probably not going to get much time. What the glue gunner does is it, well, what's its description? Shoots a glob of monkey glue at a single balloon. Glued balloons move more slowly than normal, but it has an upgrade, corrosive glue, that makes the glue become corrosive, popping balloons every few seconds while glued. The problem with that is that it doesn't affect MOABs, and it would be really great if the Monkey Intelligence Bureau allowed the glue gunner to attack MOABs so that they could shred some layers off the MOAB. That'd be really nice. But it is helpful with just regular balloons, because with this balloon liquefier, pops balloons once before gluing, contains a super strong dissolving glue that pops balloons 10 times every second. That's a lot of layers. And with another upgrade, the glue splatter, instead of gluing one balloon at a time, splatters 6 balloons at a time. So that's 60 layers every second. That's a lot. That's really good. But again, it doesn't affect MOABs, which is kind of lame. And another thing is that the balloon liquefier is the tier 4 of the glue gunner, and the tier 4 on the right path, or the tier 3 on the right path, is the glue hose that makes it attack much faster, because as you can see, it doesn't attack that fast. So there are some balloons in large clumps that it's not going to be able to get. But then the tier 4 is an activated ability that just glues everything on the entire screen, obviously except MOABs, which is helpful. But unless you're using like a balloon liquefier that pops through every 10 seconds, or 10 times every second, then that'd be pretty nice. It's not exactly the best, in my opinion. I prefer the balloon liquefier with its better actual popping skill, and then just buying 2 or 3 extras in order to make up for that attack speed difference. I prefer that over the attack everything on the screen type of effect. And a lot of these towers, or monkeys, have a tier 4 activated ability that's basically just apply what this tower does, but to everything on the screen. There are a few exceptions, but in general, that's what a lot of these things are. Which is why I tend to not focus too much on them, because I tend to focus all of my defenses in one area to strengthen them, I guess, to make sure that nothing gets past this one point, which is obviously the very end where I'm trying to defend. Let's see. This is round 74. Ah, man, still 74, still 11 more tracks, which is why I was trying to say, like, there's a lot of, this takes a lot of time to get through this whole episode. So let me know in the comments if you want me to just speed up through some of it, or cut out some of it, or anything like that. Alright, so, also again, random side note, in case any of you don't, or didn't hear, or something, you just need a reminder. Tune in for tomorrow's episode on Friday, because it's going to be special that you're not going to want to miss, I guess. I don't know. Maybe you will want to miss it. I don't know. Anyways, let's see. We've got some more Spike Storm, which I really don't use the Spike Storm that often. Especially, you'll know if you've watched more of my videos, but I just don't use it that often because it's an activated ability, and I don't really use factors that often, and just this BFB takes forever to get all the way over here. So you know what? I'll use the Sniper Monkey. The Sniper Monkey, let's read the description. Armed with a high-tech long-range rifle, pops 2 layers off of balloons with unlimited range. It's pretty effective against single balloon types, like a Moab. And I actually didn't need to upgrade to night vision goggles because that just allows snipers to detect and shoot camo balloons, and I've already got the radar scanner, so that's pretty much useless. But the Sniper Monkey is basically the opposite of the Glaive Ricochet. The Glaive Ricochet is really good at attacking lower-tiered multiple balloons, like in a long stream or a large clump. The Sniper is very good at attacking singular balloons at high-tier levels, because now with these upgrades, extreme accuracy and muzzle velocity cause up to 18 layers of balloons to be popped per shot, enough to destroy an entire ceramic balloon, which is pretty awesome. And you can set the targeting to strongest, so that it's always targeting some Moab of some sort, Moab, BFB, or the ZOMG, and it's getting rid of 18 layers per shot. So that's pretty good. That's a lot of layers. And then the Spike Storm is just a nice little support to get rid of those mobs quicker. Now, the Sniper, the problem I have with the Sniper is that it's really expensive, and because it focuses on just one balloon at a time, you kind of need a lot in order to really get rid of them effectively, I guess. And of course it does struggle with these large clumps, which I might actually be struggling with because of the whole multiplying effect, because the regrow balloons. It's actually really frightening. I might lose this. They seem to be breaking through my defenses. I really need to save more often. Dang it. No. Dang it. Oh man. Okay. Well, I'm going to continue. I'm going to use monkey money because I didn't save, and it's not going to let me save right now. Great. Alright, what I'm going to do, sell these just for the moment, and place them again over here. And let's see. I'm going to build a lot of Glaive Ricochet, because this round, what is it, 76, is just a bunch of regrow ceramics, which are basically my biggest weakness, regrow in general, because of the way that I have my defenses set up. So I'm going to lay, how many is this? 6? I'm going to lay 8 if I have enough money. Yeah, I should be able to afford one more, even though it's out of the range of the monkey village. So, with these 8 Glaive Ricochet, they should all be able to just use the Glaive Ricochet effect and just shred through like everything that comes through. So that's really cool. I really enjoy that aspect of the Glaive Ricochet. They're really best in large groups because of how easily you saw that they just get rid of ceramics, or they can just shred through like every type of balloon. And if you watch my if you watch my Tuesday episode, I use basically just Glaive Ricochet, and if you get enough of them, they can shred through Moabs and BFBs as well. You just obviously need a lot, which is why this track is actually really good. Which, you know what? Friday, tomorrow, I'm going to do the Apocalypse. If you don't know what that is basically like a survival mode, where the rounds will just keep on going on forever, as long as you can survive, and the balloons will just keep streaming in forever, and you just have to try to see how long you can survive. And my general strategy for that will be with a bunch of Glaive Ricochet, which I will eventually upgrade to Glaive Lords. Because the reason why I think Glaive Ricochet is so awesome is because if you can pop one of a single type of balloon, you can pop 100 of the single type of balloon. You can pop 1,000 of a single type of balloon. Like if you have enough Glaive Ricochet to pop through one ceramic, then it doesn't matter if there's one ceramic or 1,000 ceramics all piled together. That Glaive Ricochet will destroy all of them. So if you line up this entire path with Glaive Ricochet, or even Glaive Lords that have the glaives ricocheting around them, then that should be unstoppable. Like, unless there's some bug in the game or they somehow nerfed the Glaive Ricochet, that should be unstoppable. Just because there's no limit on how many balloons they can pop. So that, like I said, it should be unstoppable. I've tried it a couple times before, but I don't know what went wrong. Like, whenever I do the Apocalypse, I always get to like round 130, and then it just starts lagging on my game, and it takes like 20 minutes per round, and it's just ridiculous. It takes forever. But hopefully I can either find somewhere around that or just fast forward through those really laggy times or something. I don't know. But so yeah, I've got all these Glaive Ricochet, which I almost feel like they're a little bit unnecessary right now, just because there's not quite as many high-risk clumps of regrow, which actually there are right now. There's a bunch of high-risk clumps of regrow that I have to deal with, but this sniper, I meant to upgrade it earlier, but then I had to get the Glaive Ricochet army going. Just some Spike Storms to help out with those BFBs, but the Cripple Moab. Bullets from this tower temporarily take out propulsion systems of Moab class balloons, immobilizing them for a short time. So now, whenever it attacks a Moab, it'll sort of freeze it in place for a little while. Now, I still have it set on strongest targeting, which means that it'll go for the balloon with the most layers, basically, the one that's taking the least damage, which means that it's not going to be focusing on one target at a time. I mean, it is still technically focusing on one target at a time, but it'll be switching that target every now and then. So each of them will just sort of pause for a second and then keep going, which is still pretty useful, but not quite as useful as if it was just targeting one thing for an extended period of time, because then it could literally just keep it stopped there forever until it pops it. But obviously the only way to do that is either to set it to last or closest or strongest, or not strongest, first, because then whenever that first balloon is a Moab, it'll be stopping that Moab. But because it's on strongest, it's constantly changing its target, because every time it attacks it, it's no longer the strongest, so it has to attack something else. And I am really enjoying the Spike Storm for dealing with the Moabs whenever they, come all the way around the screen, and you lay out a Spike Storm, and it just destroys a bunch of them. Obviously not all of them, but it's still pretty helpful. Alright, so let's see. The next thing on my agenda, that's what I was trying to say earlier, is to get a semi-automatic rifle sniper monkey. This is the third tier on the right side, which means that for tier 4 is an activated ability, but I don't really use that ability, so I just stick with the semi-automatic rifle, which makes it much cheaper than its counterpart, and it even has a little bit stronger, a little bit more layers per second, I suppose, because let's say the Cripple Moab, well, you can't really tell, it did 18 layers beforehand, and let's say it attacks once every second, so it's doing 18 layers per second. Now the semi-automatic rifle is at the .50, which is 7 layers per shot. But with the semi-automatic rifle, that's 3 times as fast. So that's 7 layers 3 times a second, which means 21 layers every second, which is faster than the Cripple Moab, or it's more layers than the Cripple Moab, but obviously it's doing a little bit less per shot, which the problem with that is if you're using just semi-automatic rifles, like you're only using snipers and you're just using semi-automatic rifles, if you shoot a full-grown, like a undamaged ceramic balloon with one semi-automatic rifle, then it'll pop down to about 8 yellow balloons because of all of those ceramic holds rainbow, which holds zebra, which hold 2 blacks and whites, and blah blah blah. So it'll pop it down to like a clump of yellows. And rifles, snipers are not very good against clumps at all. Even if you had like 10 semi-automatic rifles, they're still not very good at clumps. So they're kind of their own worst enemy when you use semi-automatic rifles as a solo tower. But when you combine it with all these glaive ricochet and the ice tower and the spectaries, then they're pretty good support. And I'm also setting them on first, so that I know that they're targeting the first balloons on the screen, or the closest balloons to the end of the track, so that I know that they're always focusing on these first Moabs, or whatever balloon is in first. Now here, I'm actually getting a little bit worried, because my defenses aren't doing too good. But again, with these glaive ricochet, they're best. They are kind of like an attack over time type of tower, just because of the way that the glaives ricochet and all that, how it works. So I should be pretty good. Should be well defended, I suppose. The Moabs shouldn't get too far, because as you can see, they're already pretty much destroyed, about halfway or more. Alright, so this is round 83, and again, I really should have saved. I really need to remember that. Let's go again with the sniper monkey, and still need some more for the semi-automatic rifle, but still having 3 semi-automatic rifles, that's 61 layers per shot, or per second, really, depending on how fast they attack. I never really know exactly like how many per second it actually is, but the sniper monkeys will be pretty good, because again, that is 61 shots every 3 shots, I guess, so 21 shots, but whatever. Alright, so let's see, what else? Generally, when I'm going up against Moabs, I'll use the bomb towers, because they have an upgrade called the Moab Mauler, which does 10 times damage to a BFB or a Moab or a ZOMG. So that's really useful against specifically dealing with Moabs, but that 10 times damage doesn't do anything to just normal balloons. Like, it's not going to pop off 10 layers of like a ceramic balloon or anything. It'll only pop through 10 layers of a Moab. And if I remember correctly, each Moab has 200 layers that you need to pop through. So it would take one Moab Mauler 20 shots to get through it. Or if you have like 10, it would only take like 2 shots. So it's a lot easier. And then the BFB has 800 layers, I think, and then that pops into 4 Moabs, which each have 200, which is an additional 800, so that's 1600 just in the Moab layer, and then plus all of those 16 ceramics, which each have 18 layers, I guess, so that would be an additional, let's see, 108, I think, if I did the math correctly, on top of the 1600, so it's like 1700 layers, I think. If I did that math correctly, probably didn't do that correctly, but so yeah, that's a lot of layers they have to get rid of, which is why you need so many glaive ricochet, so many snipers, so many bomb towers, whatever you're doing, you need a lot to get rid of all these Moabs. They're obviously all over the place, and that's again why I love the glaive ricochet, because if you have just hypothetically 100 glaive ricochet with the double Renga, so they're shooting out 2 glaives. If you have 200 glaives being ricocheted around every time, actually first I'm going to save, because it says if you're playing on hard, you've done well to get this far, but it will all end the next level. This is going to be around 85. I don't know if my defenses are good enough to defeat it, this ZOMG, because that holds 4 BFBs. So if each BFB has 1,600 layers times 4, that's 6,400, I think, if I did the math correctly. 6,400 layers that I have to get through, just in the Moab layer, because then there's all those ceramics. That should be 16 ceramics, which is 16 times 18, which is over 250. So that's a lot of layers that I have to get through, and I should have put down the Spike Storm earlier. And actually, wow, once it got down to the BFB layer, that got through quickly. No, pretty quick. So wow, that actually was a lot easier than I thought. I thought it'd be a lot harder than that. But it's not over yet. Another thing you have to learn when playing Bloons Tower Defense in any form, because there's multiple Bloons Tile Defense games, it's never over till it's over. Don't think that you're going to win when there's still a bunch of Moabs on the screen, unless you're actually really super confident that you actually know, yeah, you're going to win, or something like that. But, let's see, I'm actually going to get a Glaive Lord, just because I have a bunch of money left over. Alright, so now I am much more confident, because there's just that one Moab, and now it's done, so huzzah! Oh well. I did technically have to use a continue, so I did technically lose. But other from that one round where I had to use continue, I didn't lose any lives, so I'd say I did pretty good. I just needed to remember to save before that round so I could just redo it. But anyways, so yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.